Well, it ended. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Today, we are going to be talking about the final installment in this most recent Halloween trilogy, Halloween Ends. If I were to give you the premise of this movie the same way that the marketing team gave it to us, it would be that this is the final showdown between Laurie and Michael. But that's only the last 10-15 minutes of the movie. Every bit of promotional anything that they put out for this was giving you the final climax of the film, and that is very much not what this movie is. So if you go into it expecting the whole thing to be the final showdown between Laurie and Michael, you're going to be greatly disappointed, and you're probably not going to like it. But if you watch it for the movie that it is, you might have a good time. To tell you what I mean, let's go ahead and start off with the positives. And first and foremost, Jamie Lee Curtis, specifically, I think this is the best portrayal of Laurie Strode she has given us probably since the first film. Big words, I know. H2O is probably number 2 for me, but there's just something about this one because Michael has disappeared. It's been 4 years since the last film, and it's gotten to the point where Laurie just isn't afraid anymore. Like, she knows that Michael isn't dead, but he's gone. He's just disappeared off the face of the earth for 4 years. So she's moved on, or at least as close to moved on as someone like Laurie Strode could get. And one, it was really nice to see a portrayal of Laurie where she's happy. Like, she is a pumpkin pie baking grandmother who gets flirty in grocery stores and like twirls her hair when she's nervous talking to a boy. And like, on paper that could sound really cheesy, but I don't know, there's just something really endearing about seeing Laurie Strode happy. But then there's also a moment where she gets entirely blamed for everything that happened in the previous 2 movies, and you just see her break down, and it's like you are really watching the weight of the world just crash down on this one woman. And then later she just flips right back into like Halloween 2018 Laurie, and just seeing all these different facets of this one character in one film. Like, it was just a roller coaster that I really enjoyed writing. Another performance that I really liked a lot, and this might be rather divisive, I don't know, I haven't watched any like actual reviews. I really liked Corey. Corey is a new character. He is introduced in the film by having this tragic accident happen, and he is blamed for the death of someone else. I thought this actor gave a really good performance. The reason that might be divisive is because they do a thing with this character that I'll get to in a minute, but pissed a lot of people off. That aside, I still think his performance was really good. I was compelled by almost everything that he was doing. He was a really good stand-in, I guess you could say, for Michael as the antagonist of this one. But that would be the divisiveness. He is the antagonist of this film. Michael is barely in it, but that is another aspect of Halloween Ends that I actually liked a lot, which is that Michael he's still physically there. You do physically see Michael. They focus less on the physical Michael, the shape, and they focus more on the entity that is Michael. Because while Michael is not in the film a lot, I still feel Michael through the whole thing, especially whenever Corey's around. Because the plot of this movie is not that Michael, the shape, is going around killing people. They are taking what Laurie the sheriff, everybody have been saying about Michael in the previous two films and making it literal. Because in Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, Michael was referred to by pretty much everybody as either a sickness, a disease, an infection, and they made him actually that. There is a scene where he basically infects Corey, and just the absolute gall that it takes to make such a drastic change in your final installments, I loved it. It was bizarre, it was weird, it was kind of corny. It definitely didn't take itself as seriously as the other two entries did. Like 2018 and Kills almost take themselves seriously to the point where like they're pushing their themes home so hard that it almost comes across as pretentious. Because while this one does have, you know, its continued themes of like evil infecting the people that are around it, or the themes of like grief and paranoia, it's also kind of corny. Like there's one kill in particular that is just so over the top that like I feel like it wouldn't have fit in with the other two, but it fits in perfectly in this one, and it's great. The kills, I will say, for the most part, are fine. Like there's a couple that stick out in mind that like were really good or like jarring or surprising, but overall they're nah. And I will say that the last 10-15 minutes, the part of the movie that, like I said, is the only part that was promoted, is really good. I do wish that it had been longer, because while, like I said at the very beginning, it ended, it did seem like so much focus was put on the Corey storyline that a little bit more could have been given to the Michael and Laurie closure. And I feel like that's a pretty good segue into the negatives. But before we go any further, let's go ahead and hear a word from our sponsor. I'm promoting stuff. I haven't done a review in way too long, but that would be because I've been working on a bunch of other stuff. I don't promote it over here too terribly much. I probably should, but over on a second channel, you will see that I have had the pleasure of being a part of two different shows, which are the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee and Heathers. I have a behind the scenes vlog series for both of those shows over on that channel, and they were both a whole lot of fun to work on. I'm super proud of how they both turned out. So after this video, go ahead and check those series out. I would greatly appreciate it. I also put out a new song called The Cut Off, the instrumental to which is what you heard in the intro of this video. It is a metalcore song, so if that's your scene, then definitely give it a listen. I'm super proud of how it turned out. My buddy Austin from Rain Falls Red is the one who did all of the instrumentation and the production, so I am super grateful to him. It is currently available on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, iTunes, YouTube, and Deezer. So like I said, if you're into metal, go ahead and check that out. I'd greatly appreciate it. There's also a behind the scenes video of that over on the second channel when Austin and I recorded the song, which was a lot of fun. So go check all that out. So yeah, thank you again to our sponsor for putting out all this cool stuff for you guys to go check out. And with that, let's get back to the review. And I feel like that's a pretty good segue into the negatives, where, like I said, they give a little bit too much for Corey to do, in the sense that he and Allison have a weird JD and Veronica, Bonnie and Clyde love story happening. Like, I understand the point, I think, which is that like Michael's infection essentially is bleeding over even into Laurie's family. I don't know for sure that that's what they were going for. That's what I got out of it, but it was definitely the corniest aspect of the movie that I did not like. Their relationship happens so fast, and they are like head over heels for each other damn near immediately, like to an obsessive level, and it just didn't work for like everything that we'd seen from Allison's character in the previous two movies. Because her whole thing with Corey is that she wants to leave Haddonfield. That makes absolute sense. But when you've got her saying lines to Corey that are like, we'll burn it down together, what do you mean? The writing in this one is not good, but like I really haven't enjoyed the dialogue in any of these. So, and their love story takes up a huge amount of the plot. Like most of the runtime is dedicated to that. It just, I don't know, it didn't work for me. I didn't like it. It really is the one big flaw of this movie. If it were just a subplot that we were watching between these two, it would be annoying. I wouldn't like it, but whatever. But it is the main plot. This is not your average Halloween movie. This is Heather's the slasher. And while that really is my only issue with the movie, is the love story, the fact that it takes up so much of the running time will knock it down a couple of notches, honestly, for me. There's also some weird editing things that they've got going on. Like in the trailers, there's shots that aren't in the movie at all, which very much could have just been that they were trying to make the climax look like it was more than it actually was, because it only lasts about 10 minutes. But there's also one scene where Laurie is talking to Corey's mom, and it just feels like half of the conversation was cut out of the scene. So, with probably my favorite portrayal of Laurie Strode, a new character that brings something fresh and new to the franchise that I think it was desperately needing at this point, a batshit banana bonkers crazy plot that I love, but has mediocre kills and a weird romantic story that takes up way too much of the running time. I'm gonna say that Halloween Ends gets a B+. So, have you guys seen Halloween Ends yet? If you have, let me know down in the comments what you thought about it, because I'm sure that you feel differently than I do. Or, what is your favorite entry in the Halloween franchise thus far? Whatever the timeline, let me know what that is as well. Go ahead and check out my social media, the 2 series of behind the scenes vlogs I did, and my new song. The links to all of that will be down in the description. But before you do any of that, go ahead and hit the like and the subscribe so that I can see you guys next time.